What is going on, everybody? It's Steven here and welcome back to another Chinese smartphone tutorial. Now today I want to show you how to back up the most important images from your new MTK 64-bit smartphone. As you may know, the new MTK 64-bit generation is not compatible right now with MTK droid tools, so the backup is more complicated right now. And also note that we're not going to get a full factory image. So what we're going to back up is just the most important images, for instance if you want to create a custom recovery, which I will also show you in the next days. And also, for instance, if you want to have a backup of your system image. So if your smartphone would just be soft bricked, so in a boot loop, then you could easily restore it with the backup you will create in this tutorial. But if you just format your smartphone in SP Flash tool, for instance, then you couldn't restore it because some images are missing. But I will show you in the next videos how to create a full dump and also how to compile a custom recovery for your new MTK 64-bit series. Okay, so we're going to use my TL 2015, and if you have seen my review of the smartphone, then you know it had a lot of firmware bugs, but I have fixed almost any of them and I will do an updated video on the smartphone very soon. Okay guys, and now let me show you what you need to do the backup. Okay guys, so first of all you need to have a micro USB cable or whatever cable your smartphone is using to connect it to the computer, because we're going to use a computer to dump the ROM. It's not possible right now to do this on the smartphone. Also you need to have root shell access, as I will tell you later, and I would definitely recommend to use micro SD cards because the backup files can get very big, and make sure you have enough space on your smartphone. So I would definitely recommend to use a micro SD card and maybe a adapter if you want then to copy the backup to your computer, but you can also do this over the smartphone. Alright guys, so now let me show you the first important step, what you have to do on your smartphone, so how to prepare it. Now, as I've said, we're going to use a computer to dump the ROM. And this is why we have to have USB Debugging mode enabled on the smartphone to get it recognized in ADB mode. And yeah, this is really important. And also, for instance, if you cannot power on your smartphone, it's maybe possible to do this in the recovery, since some recoveries allow you to have ADB access. But now let me show you how to enable USB Debugging mode on your working smartphone. So first of all, you have to unlock the developer options. So go to About the phone and tap exactly 7 times its build number. It will then say you're now a developer. So now you can go back here and just access the developer options, which you can find here at the bottom. So just scroll down and now make sure you enter the developer options and also activate them. Now on some smartphones you don't have to do this, so you can directly access them. And here make sure that USB Debugging mode is ticked. So this is really important. Also be sure to grant here USB Debugging access, and then you're actually ready to go. So now make sure it's ticked, and then you could connect the smartphone to the computer. But first of all, you also have to install the drivers, as I will show you later. But now let's go to the computer and let me show you what you have to download. Alright guys, so we're now here on the computer, and first of all let me tell you what software you have to download. As I've said before, your smartphone has to be rooted. Now if your smartphone is not rooted, this tutorial won't work. So make sure you go and root your smartphone with iRoot. And I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel on how to do it, and also there's a written guide on chinadevices.com. But just be sure that you replace the Chinese super user with supersu. Okay, when your smartphone is rooted, you can download MTK droid tools. Make sure you download the latest version, which is currently 2.5.3. As always, link down below, it's on chinadevices.com. Now, yeah, here we have the backup commands. Now the backup commands, so the ADB commands, are a bit long. So the best way is to download this text file here and then just copy and paste the commands into the ADB shell. And you can see we have a lot of commands, and basically MTK droid tools does the same. So MTK droid tools uses some very similar commands. So it dumps the images to your local SD card and then it copies them to your computer. And this is also why you sometimes get an error, there's not enough storage on your smartphone. And yeah, you can see we just dumped the images to the SD card, and I will tell you later how this works. Then here you can see a full backup. Now this is a factory ROM of the TL 2015. We are not going to get a full dump, so this is not a factory ROM. We're just going to dump the most important parts like system image, boot image and all that stuff. But yeah, if you really want to format it and refresh it, this won't be possible, and we'll cover this in the next videos. Then it's also important that you have the correct drivers installed on your system, because otherwise your smartphone is not detected in ADB mode, and we cannot execute the backup commands in the ADB shell, because your smartphone is not detected. So make sure you download and install the PDA-net driver package. Alright, when you have done this, then it's actually time to connect the smartphone to the computer in ADB mode, and now let me show you how to do this. Alright, so make sure you have the PDA-net drivers installed on your computer, and then you can connect the smartphone with the micro USB cable. And yeah, let's just verify that it's connected in USB debugging mode. So enter the Android status bar, and here you should see USB debugging connected. And also just keep an eye on the smartphone. If you can see something like allow access or something, always be sure to grant it. Otherwise you will probably don't have ADB connection. So make sure if something pops up here that you just press OK. Alright guys, so we're now here on the computer, and the first thing we are going to do now is make sure the smartphone is connected, and then we're going to run MTK droid tools. So just enter your MTK droid tools folder and run the MTK droid tools.exe file as administrator. So there we go. And now you just have to wait about 10 seconds until the phone is detected, so this can take some time. Maybe the window will freeze, so just don't do anything and just wait a bit. And there we go. And if your smartphone doesn't connect, just reconnect the cable. Now here you should see all the details about your smartphone. So the hardware, the SoC, then here the build number, the model number and all that crap, and also your IMEIs. But what we're going to do right now is we go to ADB terminal. Because as you can see, you get here an error message. That means backup maybe won't be possible. Now sometimes it's possible to dump just the system image. But yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work, and in this case we're going to open up a new ADB shell. So just go here to ADB terminal, and this will open the ADB shell. We're now going to check if the smartphone is detected, so let's just type ADB devices, and then you should see here your device number, okay? So now we know that the smartphone is detected properly, and now we can type ADB shell and df. Now this gives us a list of all partitions. And now we need to determine which partition is the biggest one, because we want to store the backup on the biggest partition. Because with the commands we're going to use, it will just dump the files to the internal memory of the smartphone. And if your smartphone doesn't have much internal memory, the backup is maybe not possible. So here you can see my SD card, so it's a 64GB SD card, and we're going to use this one here. So now it's time to open up the backup commands. And now you should already know what's the biggest partition. So go back here to the ADB shell and just note down the path of your biggest partition. So you can see the size, and to the left just note down the path. And here you will see the first command, which just creates a new folder which is called SPFT, so SP Flash Tool, on your storage media. And make sure you replace the path which you can see here in the commands with the path which is the biggest one on a smartphone. Because just on my phone, SD card 0 is the biggest one. So if you have a big internal memory, or if you don't have a SD card, then you just have to replace the path. And if you get read-only file system, so it can't create a folder, then you have to remount the memory and give it the correct permissions. You can find the command here down below. Alright, and then you just go here through the other commands. Now we have created a folder, and with the next command you just dump the first image, which is always the preloader, to the folder which you have created on your SD card. And yeah, you just start here with the first command, and as you can see you just paste it in here, press the enter button, and then the image will be dumped. Now small files like the preloader, which are below 1 MB, get dumped very fast, while other files like the system image take up to 20 minutes, and user data is your personal user data, which can take up to, I don't know, 1 hour. So if you really want to dump this, then you can do it, but yeah, just be patient and just always wait until the command is finished. So you can see here the bytes and everything which has been transferred, and then you know it was complete. And you just go here through the command, so from preloader to user data. And this basically dumps all the important images. Now this is not a full factory dump, but I will show you this in the next video. So what I will do right now is just go through all the commands, and this can take up to 1 hour, so I will do a cut here. Oh yeah, after 20 minutes the backup process has been finished, so all the images are dumped to my SD card. And after this, just type exit to leave the ADB shell and then reboot your smartphone. But you could also use the reboot command to reboot your smartphone through the ADB shell. It actually doesn't matter, so just make sure you're disconnected, reboot, and then connect it again to the computer. Because now we can browse the smartphone, so here Android device. And then you go to your SD card, so internal external storage, it depends what path you have used. And on your SD card you should now find a folder called SP Flash Tool. In the folder you can now find all the images. So we have here boot image, cache, lk.bin, so that's uboot, logo.bin, the preloader, recovery image, sacro, system image, and user data. Now yeah, the file size limit is 4 GB. So user data wasn't possible to backup because it was bigger than 4 GB, and then you will get here the file is too big. But I can tell you it's really not necessary to dump user data, since this contains your personal data and also cache, because this is mostly not needed to recover the smartphone, and also you won't need it to create a custom recovery. So that was my tutorial on how to backup the most important images on your new 64-bit MTK smartphone. And in my next videos you will see how to create a custom recovery, how to create a scatter file, and how to dump the full ROM. Now yeah, it's a bit complicated right now because MTK Droid tools is not updated, but when it gets updated you will find it on chinadevices.com. Also, if you need any help, check out China Devices, because we're over 20,000 members, so I guess 22,000 right now, and it's just crazy. So you will find a lot of help there, feel free to check it out. And if this video was helpful, please leave a like and maybe subscribe, and I really hope to see you again in my next videos. So have a nice day and bye bye.